Something that we cannot tolerate, and we are condemning for those individuals that are doing this. And we will hold accountability, and we will make sure that in the state of Minnesota, we don't have any. It's unacceptable for us to have a hate crime. Hate crime has no place in the state of Minnesota. As the legislators, we will not going to tolerate that, and we will hold accountability for those individuals that are doing and creating a division for our community. We are campaigning for this year, One Minnesota, and we want to take care of that everybody. We want to take care of that every faith and every community. We will make sure that we hold accountability, and we asking for St. Paul Police Chief for those individuals that created a hate crime to hold accountability. We want to thank all our imams and all the faith and community members that are showing up here today and to be here with us to solidarities. This is unacceptable. This is not the state that we're living in. We will make sure that for those individuals that are doing accountability, we will debate that today on the floor, and we will make sure that with both parties hold accountability for those individuals that are creating divisions. And we have seen it, we went through it, and this is not the first time that St. Paul has dealt this trauma, but we will heal together as a one community and as a one state of Minnesota. And I would like to welcome Representative Pérez-Vega, who's here with us today.
Thank you, Representative María Isa Pérez-Vega. Salam alaikum. I'm here in solidarity. I represent the other side of my brother here at the Capitol, Representative Hussein's district. I'm 65B, and we're St. Paul. And this is all about how we are moving forward together with communities of all different backgrounds, of all faiths, but in particular to highlight that this is an attack on our communities of Islam. This is an attack on our Muslim community, and we stand here in solidarity with leadership as elected officials, but also as community members, as parents, as family members who are of Muslim faith and of all different faiths. Because this is an attack on a place of worship. After yesterday, we were celebrating the opening of an elementary school in which these students worship here. So when we live in celebration, we shouldn't have to live the next day in celebration. This isn't just about the attack in St. Paul. We've seen them in Minneapolis. We've seen them in our suburbs. There's a community that is crying for help, wanting to live in peace with all of us. And if one community is not living in peace, then we're all not living in peace. And so we need to stand up together. We need to continue this. It's great to have all of us here unified. When the imams call, we show up. Okay, whether it's the mosque, if the priest call, if this was to happen at Our Lady of Guadalupe, I say, I want you to show up here with our brothers of Islam and sisters of Islam, whether they're Catholic, Lutheran, etc., etc. We are all communities of faith. Let's have faith, and better to have more peace, because these are actions of hatred. We are hearing the words back to back of, this isn't hate, this is hate, no, this is terrorism. And I said it. We're saying it together, and we're calling it together to stop. Stop this.
Yeah, let's change it.
Let's move in unity, and let's show up for each other. And I really hope that we can get to the bottom of this, because this is a continued pattern. This is the third in the last 4 weeks of mosques that have been attacked. And on the words of Representative Jay Zhang of District 67, he wants to tell you that the Hmong and Asian community are standing here alongside as well. And that's what we're doing at a state level, that's what we're doing at a city level, and we need to show the world that we're not taking this anymore. This is a global impact that is attacking our local communities. We need to stop and bring justice to this. Thank you.
And all St. Paul delegations will condemn this, and they will release the press release within the next 15 minutes. And we're here with the community, and we want to make sure that all the community needs to be healed. And thank you. We will get back on the floor, but we're here with the community and praying with them. Thank you for being here, everyone, all the imams.
Keep going. Again, this is Jaylani Hussein, Executive Director of CARE Minnesota. Unfortunately, I could not believe this morning that another mosque was attacked. We have not seen this before in Minnesota, and based on my colleagues of the CARE National Network, we have not seen this in other states. This is a terrible trend, a trend that does not feel, and for many of us here today, we know that this is not the Minnesota that we know. 6 attacks against mosques in the state of Minnesota this year alone. 9 attacks against mosques last year. That is the highest in the country. The state of our mosques and our community is strong, even though this horrific attack today may have caused the damage of one of our beloved mosques here, Mr. Twhid. This attack will not deter us. And earlier today, around 1:30, our Imam, Imam Abdurrahim, who was here, led us in prayer as a sign that we will continue to be a resilient community. But today we have some asks. The first ask is to the beloved community. We need the community, anyone, around 8 in the morning this morning who drove, who might be their normal commute, who saw anything, to be able to share that information with the St. Paul Police Department. We are also asking for law enforcement. We appreciate both Minneapolis and St. Paul today responding to our call to increase patrols of our mosques, both in both of the cities, but we're also asking for law enforcement across the state of Minnesota. We're asking the governor to also provide any additional resources until we can apprehend this person. We believe at this moment that this is not only just an attack on our mosque, but an attack against all places of worship. And until this person is brought to justice, we are not going to rest. We've asked our community leaders, many of them who are here today, to increase patrols at our mosques. And the state right now is many of our mosques have security, but they need more. Some of them have applied for federal security grants, and we have not gotten those grants. We need that support from the federal government, but we've asked the state legislators just before this session to add additional funding. Unfortunately, no funding has been added to the public safety bill that could have been used for our mosques to have cameras and better lighting and better infrastructure security. We need to actually put dollars in play so that security can be had. But we are at CARE a firm believer that security is not just in the hands of law enforcement. We believe security is in the hands of our community, our neighbors. In fact, as our chiefs reminded us, the incident, how we captured Mr. Little, who terrorized our mosque in Minneapolis, was because of a member of our larger community who saw his name and immediately acted on that in Little Earth or Blue Earth County. Today marks, as I said, the 6th incident with nearly just before even this week is turned over. On Friday, Masjid Sunnah was attacked. A suspect came and destroyed the front door of the mosque. We have actually members of that mosque here today as well. We are, as a community, not surprised, sadly, but to lose this beautiful space, to lose what's been going on is incredibly disappointing. And we now ask for action. We need ask from the community. We need law enforcement officials to work rapidly to resolve this issue. We need the federal government and the state government to recognize and not give us lip service, but actually deliver on things that we could use to implement to make sure that safety can be had in our communities. At CARE Minnesota, we are very gracious and appreciative to both the St. Paul Foundation for reaching out to us and helping us develop a position that we will be deploying to support our mosques. We appreciate the Minneapolis Foundation for joining, and we hope other foundations to step up. I will just say this because there are a lot of people that are wondering sometimes after some of these incidents what actually happens. We get a lot of support, but sometimes that support does not actually translate into things that we could do something with. Masjid Mercy Center that was bombed, arson. That mosque has only raised about $3,000 on GoFundMe or Launchpad. I don't believe that is the Minnesota that I know. For a mosque to ask for people to help and we get only $3,000 to support does not really reflect the generosity that I know for sure that we have in this state. So we also need financial support from our larger community. If you believe that this is something that is not part of our nature of our state, then invest in the resources that we need, that we can deploy to support our community. We have a large number of people speaking here today. I want to first of all thank our mayor, who's been on the front of this, has been supporting us on many issues, and I'd like to give him a chance to address you today. Mayor Carter.
Thank you all for being here. My name is Melvin Carter, and I'm the mayor of this city. I'm also a young person who grew up in walking distance from where we are right now. I've said it before, and I'll say it again. I'm proud to be able to live and serve a city in which we know that an attack against a mosque is an attack against a synagogue. And an attack against a synagogue is an attack against a black church. And on and on and on. But let me tell you, I'm tired of saying that line. It's beautiful that we see leaders from our interfaith community. And as much as I love all of the people we see here today, I'm tired of us coming together like this. We are. I'm tired of us coming together in response to this. An attack, violence against the community of faith, violence against the place of worship. We shouldn't have to say out loud that we don't accept that. We shouldn't have to say out loud that we condemn these types of acts in our city. And yet here we are over and over and over again. I want to thank you, Delani, and all the leaders of our community who have come out to show that real grassroots community leadership, who have come out to demonstrate that even in the city of St. Paul, even today, even in the face of this type of hate, that the power of love, the power of oneness that bonds us together is even stronger. As we have this conversation, Delani, as you said, six attacks against mosques in our community, in our Minnesota, in our space, where we celebrate our diversity, where we celebrate our multiculturalism, where we celebrate our multilingualism. And yet here we are with 6 attacks against mosques in our community. It's just wholly unacceptable. I shared it earlier. Our belief in St. Paul that underscores our community first public safety framework is that public safety can't just start after someone calls 911 or after something terrible has happened. Public safety has to start with identifying the cycles that keep on playing out, identifying the predictable cycles of violence and taking action to intervene, to make investments to interrupt those cycles. We have already begun, our fire department and our police department are investigating this crime in earnest to make sure that, obviously first to put out the fire, but to make sure that the perpetrators of this evil act are held accountable for their actions. Our police department has already boosted the patrols that they patrol around our mosques in our community. I thank you for being here as a representative of our police department, our deputy chief. But we've already begun that work. And we know that even that is not enough. That's why earlier we said we're going to call on our community to raise those dollars necessary as quickly as possible for every single mosque in our community to be surrounded by security cameras, so that anyone who comes into that space can know that they're being captured on camera and they'll be accountable for their actions. We know that the vast majority of people will walk into those spaces to pray, to worship, to convene, to help someone with their homework, and do all of the types of incredible activities that happen in a space like this. And we also want to make sure that anyone who decides to wake up in the morning and try to do harm against a mosque or another house of worship in our community knows we see you, we'll capture your image, and you absolutely will be caught and held accountable for your actions. I've spoken with our city attorney, I've spoken with our city council presidents today. I've been in contact with our governor, I've been in contact with Mayor Fry, and we've reached out to the White House to discuss this because this is absolutely critical. This is absolutely important. And let me tell you, you said we have to put our money where our mouth is. We can't just say we don't accept this. We have to demonstrate that we don't accept this. And we ask folks to help. And I want to say right now, the city of St. Paul is going to be first in to help make sure to invest and provide resources to help make sure we have security cameras at every mosque in our city. Thank you very much.
And now I would like to invite both the Imam and the Director of Masjid Twhid.
My name is Dr. Abdurrahim Ahmad Doyo, Imam of Twhid Islam Center. And my name is, again, I'm gonna spell Abdurrahim, Abdurrahim, Doyo. My last name is Doyo. And as I said in the morning, we are not alone. And the Muslim community in St. Paul, when we heard in the morning our mosque is under fire, we get to know very sad. Right now, when we saw all the community around us, we are not alone. We are part of this community, and I would like to say, behalf of my community and all the leaders, all the imams, and the different faith from different community, and fire department, mayor, all departments, news, to be here with us. Thank you very much. I would like to say again, thank you, because when we see here, right now we talked a lot. Everybody said what they're supposed to say, but we need action.
Yes.
We need action from the law enforcement, from the mayor, from the police department. Every people they can do something. We talked, but last masajid, last mosques, the same thing they say, but we need action. This is crime is going on. It's going. Maybe we don't know what is happening tomorrow, after tomorrow. That has to be stopped. So this is what I want to say. Thank you very much for being here with us.